Mason Hill cattle. Premium Wagyu beef. The good stuff.
Today we're going to answer the question of how do we make a brisket? We're going to take this amazing Mason Hill cattle Wagyu brisket. We're going to make it look good. We're going to season it very simply. We're going to throw it on the Green Mountain Grill smoker, and then hopefully it comes out nice and juicy, flavorful, and everything we expect. So I'm just going to teach you a couple little tricks here, and then we'll cook her up. So I always like gloves. They're a quick and easy way to keep everything nice and clean. And a sharp knife. Also, this is a sharp knife even though it looks dull. This is a good brisket knife where you can cut the full length of the brisket when it's all done. A sharp knife is key. I went through and trimmed a lot of this, but when we're trimming it, all we're gonna do is pull some of this fat off here, make it all so it's meaty. I have an aluminum foil here just because it's a quick, easy way to dispose of all the stuff we cut off. So we trim this Mason Hill cattle Wagyu brisket up here a little bit, make it look good. This is what it should look like when you're all done trimming. A beautiful, beautiful brisket. Deep marbling on the opposite side here. You can actually see the fat cap we left on here because in the smoker, it's going to allow a lot of that fat to go down and create a moist environment while you're cooking. So this is what it should look like when it's all done being seasoned. Quick little thing I like to do is I take the olive oil, dump a little olive oil on the brisket, spread it around. What we're doing here is giving it kind of like a stickiness to be able to have the rub that we're going to put on here adhere to it. So I do that. I do garlic, just granulated garlic, kosher salt, and fresh ground pepper. So we're just going to take a bit of this and just put it all over. I'm using a cookie sheet here, mostly because it'll just catch a lot of the rub that goes off the meat on accident, but it's just a kind of a catch can, if you will. So that was the garlic. This here is the kosher salt. And I get it a little bit heavy on the salt because the Wagyu brisket's really, really, really rich in flavor. So you put a little extra salt on a Wagyu brisket, it's gonna come out amazingly well. And then the last one is fresh ground pepper. If you got kids in the house, you know, maybe you wanna do a little less black pepper. Ultimately, it's gonna give you a lot of flavor. So what we can see here, I'll lift this bad boy up again and show you. I'm going to season it fairly lightly now, like this. I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. Now the reason why I do it fairly lightly now is because before we wrap it, and you can wrap it on a smoker, whether it be butcher paper or aluminum foil, I'll season it again. So I'm going to do about half my seasoning now and then half my seasoning when I wrap it. A lot of guys will put, you know, some moisture when they wrap it or all these different things. The beautiful thing about this Wagyu beef is there's so much marbling in here that we don't even have to really worry about adding any additional moisture into the smoker when we wrap it. The garlic, salt, again a little extra salt, more than you think you're gonna need, and it will make the flavor just pop. All these briskets and guys doing competitions and all that, I mean, they're getting into like injections and all these different crazy flavor profiles, which are amazing ideas. When it comes to just a good old-fashioned brisket, salt, pepper, and garlic is just really all that you need. So we're gonna get that all in there, rub it in. I'm rubbing this side because this is the side that you're gonna have most of your flavor on. The other side's got that fat cap, and I mean, I might be a victim of it too. I eat the beef fat a little bit, but most people are gonna want less fat, so this would be the side that you would actually have more flavor on. So that's really all we need to do, make it look beautiful like that. All the trimming's done, it's seasoned now, so I'm gonna head out to the smoker. All right, so now we've got our brisket getting ready to go in the smoker. A little bit about how to put your brisket in the smoker. You can either do meat down or fat down. There's a couple different reasons why you would want to do it. I always do fat cap down. So this would be the fat cap. So this is exactly how it would look inside the barbecue. The reason I do that is all that fat is going to be a barrier from the heat that's going up. So I believe that the fat's going to fall down. It's going to create moisture inside the barbecue. It's going to provide a more moist product, but it's also going to protect the bottom of that brisket from the heat from the actual fire inside the barbecue. So another tool I like to use is I have an Insta-Read thermometer, and these awesome Green Mountain grills, they come with a meat probe that we can actually put straight into our brisket. So something like this you're going to want to do towards the center of your brisket. We'll put that all the way in there. And now on the digital controller, I can just set a program on there to tell me when it's at temperature. I'm not gonna do anything with this brisket until the internal meat temperature is at 160. That's when I'm gonna go and wrap it. That's my magic number. So a couple things I've got in here. I've got a thin blue smoker to give it a little bit more smoke. And then I've got an upper rack, which is what we're gonna put the brisket on. So pretty easy. Again, fat side down. I'm gonna go ahead and put the brisket right on top there. Make it look all pretty. And that, my friends, is all we need to do for the next 10, 12 hours. All right, so now it looks like, based on the temperature of the barbecue and the meat probe, we wanted the magic number of 160. We're at 160. I'm gonna double check the barbecue to make sure it's accurate by using my trusty thermopan. We're gonna open this thing up and let's see what we got here. Hoping for something beautiful. We got something beautiful. Nice smoked brisket. So this is exactly what we're looking for. We're gonna put our meat probe in here, and we're looking for a temperature of 160. Yep, we definitely got it. That's perfect. So we'll take the other meat probe out. This is gonna be kind of hard to wrap it if we got a meat probe connected to it. So we're gonna go ahead and pull this brisket, put it on the paper, and show you how to wrap it. Okay, so there's that. We're back to our seasonings that we had. We have some salt, some garlic, some pepper. Again, this is the lower side of the top side of the brisket is the non-fat side. So we're seasoning this, but we're not going to season the bottom because it's got the fat layer on there, which I don't think it's going to hold near as much flavor. So again, same seasonings. The first one was garlic, this one's salt, and then the next one will be pepper. Just gonna give it a nice seasoning here again. Here we go. And then black pepper. I love black pepper. It's really good. It's so tasty, it's crazy juicy right now. This is just a thing of beauty right here. All right, so now we're gonna take, if you don't know about this, this actually is just turn steaks with. It's actually a really, really good tool, steak turner. All right, so now all we have is our brisket. We're gonna do this number. A couple wraps like this. Tear it. We're gonna do the exact same thing again, the opposite way. Here's this. We're just sealing it up nice and tight. Give it a good seal. That is exactly what we're looking for. Doesn't matter if the fat's up or fat down at this point because it's all wrapped up. We're gonna take it back in the barbecue. Let her sit right there. Close her on up. And now we're gonna go to an internal temperature. We're hoping for around 200, 205. All right, so we brought our brisket in from outside. You know, typically I would put the brisket in like a cooler or something that's really insulated. I went ahead and just put it in the oven. Didn't have the oven on. Just let it rest in there. The trick is, these briskets have to rest after they smoke. So we end up pulling it off at 200 degrees. We're going for the big reveal and we're crossing our fingers that everything works out good here. So I've got a sharp knife, a pointed knife here to kind of get the bag or the paper torn open. When you use the actual brisket knife when we go through and slice it. But I can tell you right now, this thing's looking pretty good. Here's what she looked like when you open up that paper. You can see the black pepper in there. Oh man, this is smelling good. Definitely shrunk in size, but looking real, real good. A little bit hot. A little bit hot. Let's see. This will be pretty good. So what we're going to look for here is the grain. And if you can look in the picture here, there's grain on this. It all looks like it's going this direction. So we're going to want to cut it against the grain. Man, this thing's looking pretty darn good. All right. we wanted to, we could cut it this way. Oh, it's got a nice little jiggle to it. If we wanted to, we could also cut it this way. It's entirely up to you, whichever you want to do. I personally am going to cut against the grain just like this. So I'm going to turn it around. All my grains are going that way. Here's a moment of truth. Thinking this looks pretty good. Still pretty hot. All right, I'm going to do 2 different thicknesses on these cuts, and I'm going to show you why. So on this cut, this one is thicker than this one. Now, if you had a brisket that was a little bit overcooked, then you would want to cut it thick. If it was undercooked, then you would want to cut it thin. So if we take these, we can do what's called a brisket test. She's got a little bit of bend to it, but man, does it fall right on over. I'm going to tell you right now, the smoke ring on this looks amazing. You can tell there's a lot of marbling on the meat itself. I mean, this looks really good. I think we should just dig in and have a bite. Let's see what we got here is a tug test. So the bigger one tugged a little bit more, had a little bit of snap to it. The smaller one pulled right apart. So I'd probably say we could have went a little bit longer on our temperature, but for the quick, how do we do a brisket type video, I just wanted to, have it as raw as I possibly could, show you all the steps that I would take, and then you can make, adjustments as you go. So ultimately, how's it taste? Man, does that taste good. Wow, that's really good. And moist, smoky. A little tiny bit of black pepper. You can definitely get some of the salt. Man, this is really, really, really good. I'm gonna say no sauce on this one. Till next time, we'll talk with you again.
Order now at www.masonhillcattle.com.